Welcome to Sports Nation. Carrie Champion, joined here by Marcellus Wiley and Anderson. I missed you fellas, if not for 24 hours.
I know. How was the flight? All that good, girl. Okay, you had a good time?
He's giving me
You were in coach, I heard.
Let's get started.
Oh, tweet. Why she back here with me?
A hard time.
Stay out of coach.
Places with Toyota. A king's ransom. Sources told our Adam Schefter that the Giants are seeking at least 2 first-round picks for Odell Beckham Jr. Just yesterday, Giants GM Dave Gettleman said, "You don't quit on talent," and co-owner John Mara said that Beckham wasn't on the list. I don't know. Listen, Marcellus, would you trade him for 2 first-round picks?
Would I trade? If I'm the Giants and I can get 2 first-round picks, absolutely, because the market has changed. If you want to look at the comps out there for 2 first-round picks, we got to go back to what? Keyshawn Johnson, our boy, not worth 2 first-round picks, even though he did win a Super Bowl.
You said he wasn't worth. I can't wait for him to see this.
I keep it 100. Joey Galloway was certainly not worth
Why
his
are we going back to Keyshawn?
Well, those are the comps. Those are guys who were traded for 2 first-round picks. And if you want to look at it now, the market has reset itself to that no player is worth 2 first-round picks, and that includes Odell. So if the Giants can get that as an asking price, yeah, I will let them go.
Yeah, I mean, and there's several teams I think that should make that, even though we haven't seen that. I mean, think about it. If you're the Cleveland Browns, right?
Oh, boy.
The Cleveland Browns, we oftentimes look at how they screwed up the QB situation. You know, they also had a chance to get Julio Jones, and they traded that away and got 5 players who are not on the roster right now. This is an opportunity.
With the Cleveland Browns.
First of all, they already got a good receiving corps, so don't mess with the receiving corps. Jarvis Landry.
How do you know it's a good? They haven't even played together.
You trying to tell me Josh Gordon and
They haven't even played together. You already called them a good receiving corps.
Hold on, man. Don't go chemistry and receivers. We're talking about 2 great talents at the position. You need more than just receivers if you're Cleveland. I don't know a team out there that is desperate enough to do that.
I think they're trying to scare him. I don't even think they're trying to shop him. They just want to check him.
They just want to see if somebody's going to play that food tax.
Yeah.
That's
Meanwhile, I'm the real MVP. LeBron James has been putting in work this season, and he thinks he should be rewarded. So speaking to the Associated Press about who should be MVP, I agree with him here. He says, the body of work, how I'm doing it, what's been happening with our team all year long, how we've got so many injuries and things of that nature, guys in and out, to be able to still keep this thing afloat, I definitely vote me. I believe he's always the MVP. I think we take his greatness for granted, though, because we see it day in and day out. So your thoughts? Is he the MVP?
He is in the context of what a most valuable player is.
Yeah.
But in the history of this award, it's hard to ignore the best player on the league's best team, which is James Harden right now.
There it is.
Now, if you're starting a franchise, give me Bron all day, every day. But this particular season, especially he's been runner-up the last 2 years, you can't ignore James Harden's year.
That's right, because he's been snubbed, he's been slighted, and it's James Harden's award to win this year.
Fair.
We know that because we're splitting hairs right here.
Yes.
LeBron has a great argument any other year, and if James Harden had won it prior to this year. But since he hasn't, it's a rotating trophy. That's why Kobe only has one, and that's why you got to make sure that James Harden gets his. That said, what LeBron James is doing, I love the personality change. Kevin Durant did this a few years ago, tired of being number 2. All of a sudden, that edge came out, and he just got mad at everybody in the world and the game of basketball. LeBron is now on a mission to let everybody know how great the king is. Check him out on social media. Listen to his interviews. He applauds himself first before the media has to do that.
Remember, we gave him a hard time for that third person when he had reached that certain point. So we're like, why are you talking in the third person about yourself? I totally expect
I'm with him now.
To say, he's the best. Meanwhile, let's move on. A change is going to come. NFL owners have passed a new rule. And you like it? Targeting, we're lowering the head to initiate contact with the helmet is a foul. A player will now be penalized 15 yards and potentially ejected. And the rule will apply to tacklers, ball carriers, and linemen. Marcellus, you play in the NFL, did you?
Few of those years.
Yeah, you did, right?
right.
You may know some things about this. Adam Schefter is calling it the most significant rule change in NFL history. Your thoughts on it?
I totally agree with him. At the core of what football is in terms of the initial contact and what the game is in essence, this is a game changer. This erodes what you think football is. I was just doing an interview this weekend, crazy timing, about the game of football for my son going forward. I said I don't want him to play because I don't want him to be 11 years old having those accidents in terms of helmet-to-helmet contact.
You don't want your son to play ball?
No, not at all. Hell, you kidding me? There's a lot of other ways up the mountain other than doing that.
What mountain? You're a 1%er.
that said, the NFL has obviously listened to a lot of others in this conversation, and they really have changed the game. To me, it's not football as such, and in 5 to 10 years with this kind of evolution and progression, it's going to be flag football, Pro Bowl style football. That's where we're heading.
I mean, I do wonder how they're planning on policing this, especially they seem to have difficulties figuring out what a catch is. How are they going to figure out when you intend to hit somebody with the crown of your helmet or not? I don't know if they can do that.
That's a great point.
I do disagree, though, with this being the most significant rule. I think it's a significant football rule, but in terms of the league and the way it carries itself as a business, the Rooney Rule to me is still much more significant than this rule change.
But is the Rooney Rule even implemented?
Yeah,
the Rooney Rule
is not executed properly.
It's not executed properly, but at least it allows us to give a vocabulary to what's been wrong in terms of the hiring process of the NFL, which is very significant. Before, you just said, "Oh, I got a feeling there's racism involved." Now you have a process that must be followed, so you can challenge. It gives you grounds to do that.
Respect for that conversation, but in this, between the white lines, I haven't seen anything of this magnitude. Make them black then. You want black rule? You want Rooney Rule for the lines? You can do that. But in terms of the significance on the field, this changes everything. This is going to be a mindset change.
You said something that I thought was really interesting. So it's going to be flag football. And how will they, it's so subjective, how will they be able to police that?
Well, you know what? They're going to overcorrect like we always do in this society when we have to make a change, and then there will be a balancing act. It's going to be difficult, though.
All right, well, bad news. Bad news if you think that's bad news. Time for 3 cheers!
LZ does it. My son will play now. It's soft.
What do you guys think about that?
Oh. See, that's another way up the mountain, LZ. You know what I'm saying?
1%er.
No helmet to helmet there.
They just tanking, that's all. Trying to position themselves better.
Man.
All right, 2 cheers.
Doing a good job. Doing a good job, too.
Lou Will. Lou Willie.
Is that a Clipper?
In the face.
Clip City.
Wow.
That hurt.
Yeah, that's not.
That ain't good. Don't get up.
He might be acting, though. Let me stay down for a minute.
Yeah, for real. Clippers won that game against a playoff team.
They should have. No, he wasn't acting. That was a punch.
Can we get in as a 9 seed? Can we get in as a 9 seed? No. That ain't
Let's go play. Not UCLA.
3 cheers for Dirk. Nowitzki launches a 3. Wait.
You still a legend, baby.
He doesn't even care what he's doing. Is he a legend?
He's still a legend.
Living legend.
Here. All right, coming up next, Calais Campbell of the Jacksonville Jags will join us. Marcellus, don't be jealous because, well, you know, we have a football player.
A real one. A big one. Saxonville in house. Sports Nation.
Sports Nation is presented by Toyota. Let's go places.